Connecticut Soccer Stadium, site of the 1986 Big East Conference Soccer Championships. Here are the starting lineups. For the fourth-seeded Boston College Eagles, the forwards, number 10, David Sullivan, number 7, Steve Masiello, and number 9, Pat Zimmerman. At midfield, number 12, Jeff Modis, number 17, Greg Schwacke, and number 2, Eric Brown. And in the backfield, number 11, Dave Suvak, number 15, Ken Allain, number 4, Ara Barsamian, number 5, Scott Jones. In the goal, it's Eric Hasman with a record of 8-7-5. He's made 123 saves, a goals against average of .93. For the first-seeded Seton Hall Pirates, ranked 9th in the nation, their forwards, number 9, Pat Hughes, number 15, Peter Matashak. At midfield, number 8, John Murphy, number 10, Ian Hennessy, number 11, Pat O'Kelly, and number 17, Greg Massengill. And in the backfield, number 12, George Nazario, number 4, Joe Alfano, number 5, Ed Haig, and number 6, Brian Hammond. With Terry Higgins, an All-American candidate, in the net, his record 13-1-2. He's recorded 6 shutouts, has made 91 saves, and has a goals against average of 1.00. The referee this afternoon is Bill Maxwell. The linesmen, Ed Gaffney and Stuart Cadu. And Scott, obviously the conditions very much the story here this afternoon.
Well, actually, you know, soccer people don't mind the rain so much. The footing will be a little bit slick, but the field will be soft. Control shouldn't be that difficult. Where you're really going to have problems today, I think, if you take a look in front of the goals, you have, of course, the dirt area, the skin area, where there's been a lot of activity in front of the goals. They had them covered with pitcher's mound sort of tarps, but they're getting very wet now, and I think that's where we're going to see most of the problems today, is controlling the ball in the area, both offensively and defensively.
We are underway, the semifinals of the 1986 Big East Conference Tournament. The Seton Hall Pirates, the number 1 seed, dressed in the blue and white stripes. Boston College, as always, in the maroon and gold, and Higgins will punt it away for Seton Hall. Through the raindrops out to midfield, ball bouncing free. Pat Hughes, number 9, lost it. And Ken Allain for Boston College, number 15, plays it forward to Pat Zimmerman, number 9. It went off his leg and out of bounds. It'll be thrown back in by Seton Hall. Thrown in to Greg Massengill. Up the line it goes and out. And Ken Allain will throw it in for Boston College. The Eagles come in at 8-7-5. Their most recent outing, a match seen on the New England Sports Network, a scoreless tie against Boston University. Steve Masiello, number 7, played it forward in the direction of Zimmerman. It's going to be tough to go on the run this afternoon with the muddy turf, standing water all over the field, and it's tough to get moving. David Suvak, number 11.
But I don't really think not being able to run is going to affect either one of these teams. There aren't a lot of surprises here. These teams play pretty steady game, pretty good control game. Boston College coming out with a 3-man front, Seton Hall with a 2-man front.
On the right, striking.
Ben Brewster, in his 11th season as the head coach at Boston College. Ball headed out of play by Ara Barsamian of Boston College. Seton Hall throws it in. Allain stole the pass. Now Hughes back with it for Seton Hall. Into the area come the Pirates. Ball free out in front. Off the post. Coming back. A shot right on. Stopped by Hasman. Ball still free in the area. The Pirates putting the pressure on. Ed Haig had the best opportunity. Now a shot from close range and a goal for the Pirates. They storm the goal and Peter Matashak gets the goal.
Boy, that's the target man. That's the guy you want to have open in front. Matashak, he had an earlier opportunity, but Schwacke, in trying to clear it out, actually cleared it off the post on the earlier opportunity. Matashak held his ground and was in position the second time around.
Matashak, the leading scorer for the Seton Hall Pirates, that is 21st goal of the year.
Here it is. It's sort of blocked in front and dies at the top of the area, which actually helps Seton Hall. They get good control, and Matashak wide open, really, with a good lane to the goal. He's deadly from close in.
According to Soccer America, Matashak is second in the nation in scoring behind David Doyle of Campbell College in North Carolina. Ian Hennessy gets credit for the assist. Just 2:07 into the match. Matashak gets the goal. He's a sophomore from Ridgefield, New Jersey, and a big target in that area at 6'4", 185 pounds. Play on at midfield. The Eagles looking to break back. Zimmerman lost the ball. Ball got slowed down in a puddle, dug out by the Pirates.
What's up? Who you got?
Ian Hennessy tried to take the return pass. It was picked off by Boston College. Zimmerman laid it off. Long ball by Schwacke. Handball called against Seton Hall as Ed Haig, number 5, got a hand on it.
Watch 4-6.
You know, we just saw the effect that some standing water had on the ball. As you try to come downfield, it gets caught in that standing water and it doesn't go with you. You lose it behind you. And I think the standing water in front of the area down at the Boston College end actually helped Seton Hall on that goal.
Long ball on net by Ara Barsamian. Higgins made the play and sends it back out to midfield.
I think the original feed into the area on that goal setup was actually intended to be a shot. It hit that standing water and died at the top of the area, which enabled them to set up Matashak off to the side.
Ed Kelly, head coach at Seton Hall, came over from Fairleigh Dickinson, where he was an assistant, and has brought an Irish flavor to this squad. That's really what turned it around. 2 years ago, the Pirates won just one game. Ed Haig, number 5. He's a sophomore from Westfield, New Jersey. Played it into the middle of Hughes. He sent it back in the direction of Hennessy, but he couldn't catch up with it. Greg Massengill laid the ball off. Alfano sent it along the line in the direction of Matashak, taken back by Boston College. Played long in the direction of Zimmerman. He's racing to catch up with it, but he won't get there first. And the Pirates play it back to Terry Higgins, the senior from Elizabeth, New Jersey. Ball saved by Haig. Now George Nazario. Long ball stopped by Boston College. Eric Brown, number 2. Brown, surrounded by 4 Seton Hall Pirates, lost the ball. David Sullivan tried to chip it back toward the middle. It was blocked out off Nazario.
Two on the right. Bonnie, come right, Bonnie.
Brown blocked. It goes right to Sullivan. Sullivan and his pass attempt blocked. Schwacke gave it off to Ara Barsamian. Now Jeff Monis trying to spin away from trouble. Back out wide to Eric Brown, a senior from Framingham, Mass. Pass intended for Sullivan. He slipped down to the wet turf. The ball cleared away by the Pirates. Ken Lane will throw it back in for Boston College. He's a sophomore from Lynn, Massachusetts, out of Lynn English. Sullivan had it blocked out by Haig. Seton Hall leads 1-0. It's semifinal round action of the Big East Conference Soccer Tournament here at the University of Connecticut, the Connecticut Soccer Stadium. The Connecticut Huskies in the tournament as the 3rd seed. They'll meet Syracuse, the number 2 seed, in the other semifinal matchup.
Now, I talked to Ben Brewster just briefly before the game about the conditions, and I think one of the reasons why he really doesn't mind the rain is it can turn into a great equalizer when there is a disparity in the caliber of talent. And Seton Hall would have the advantage there in this particular matchup. So Boston College would have the advantage from the rain.
Scott Jones played it over midfield. Sullivan giving chase for Boston College, wearing number 10. It's kicked out, and Sullivan will throw it in. He's a sophomore from West Suffield, Connecticut. Throws it in. Back it goes to Jeff Monis. Number 12. Put it into the middle. It's knocked down and played away by Ian Hennessy. Suvak blasted it back over midfield, taken right back by Pat O'Kelly. He slips down after getting the ball off to Pat Hughes. The freshman Hughes put it out wide, and it went out along the line. Throw in for Boston College with 38 minutes to play in the first half, and Seton Hall leading 1-0. There's Peter Matashak. He has the only goal this year, or this game rather, 21 goals this year. Tallest player on the roster at 6'4". And they have a very young team, do the Pirates. The only starting senior on the squad is Terry Higgins, the goalie. They start 8 freshmen. And the Pirates are indeed the youngest team in the nation's top 10 right now, ranked 9th in the nation this week. Throw into Pat Zimmerman. He got knocked off the ball. The Pirates clear it away out to midfield. Pat Hughes. He lost it. The Eagles will throw it in. Monis throws it in quickly to Zimmerman. Zimmerman chips it into the area. Out in front, it's kicked away by Haig. Elaine sends it back to Barsamian. His pass taken right back by Haig. Brown wide out again to Schwacke. He's a freshman. Along the ground out in front, kicked away by Nazario. Battle for the ball outside the area. Seton Hall in possession. Ed Haig, number 5. Over midfield in the direction of Matashak. Skipped by him, went over the line. The Eagles will throw it in.
Ed Kelly is very surprised by how quickly this program has met the success it has met. The Seton Hall Pirates now ranked 9th in the nation. He feels that, of course, a lot of it is due to their own play, but he also thinks that a lot is due to the play of the other teams in his region, helping out Seton Hall by knocking each other off and keeping themselves from gaining any serious ground on them. A big win over Temple, a big shutout in that game for Terry Higgins. It was that win over Temple that really moved Seton Hall into the top 10.
Seton Hall 16-1-2, 3-0-1 in the Big East South Division. The 86th edition of the Seton Hall Pirates, the winningest team in school history. You have to go back to 1949. That season, the Pirates won just 11, so they shattered the team record for wins in a season.
That one Big East South blemish, a tie, or a blemish if you want to call it that, a tie against Georgetown, which really should have been outmanned by Seton Hall in that game.
This copyrighted program is brought to you under pay cable TV rights granted by the Big East Conference solely for the entertainment of our viewing audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of the accounts and descriptions of this game without the written consent of the New England Sports Network is prohibited. We're down to 35 minutes to play in the first half. Seton Hall seeded first in the Big East Conference tournament, leading Boston College by a score of 1-0. Peter Matashak, the goal, his 21st of the season. It came at 2:07.
And an assist from Ian Hennessy and a little bit of water in front of the Boston College area.
Pirates to throw it in. Ed Haig steps up to the line. Battled for possession at the top of the area, and it's cleared away by Greg Schwacke. Played right back by the Pirates. Haig chips it out in front, and Hasbin had to come out to poke it away. The Pirates still in possession. Ian Hennessy, number 10. To Brian Hammond, number 6. Right in front of the Boston College bench, an errant pass by Joe Alfano. And there are some hardy souls who've come out to watch this. Not too many people here for the first game of the day. I'd imagine we'll see a lot of hardy souls this afternoon when Connecticut takes on Syracuse in the other Big East semifinal. Ken Elaine trying to intercept the pass for Boston College. It's finally taken back by Monis. He cleared it away, but the Pirates take it right back. Into the corner, and over the line goes the ball. And a look at Eric Brown, number 2, for the Boston College Eagles, a senior, 6'3", 175 pounds, from Framingham, Massachusetts.
And he has been called by Coach Ben Brewster the most consistent player on the Eagles squad this season.
His brother Keith wore the maroon and gold from 1980 to 83. Seton Hall out shooting Boston College 5-0 to this point. We're down to 33-10 to play in the first half. The Pirates lead 1-0.
You know, the reason I mentioned that tie against Georgetown as the only blemish on the Seton Hall Big East record this season was because it was in their last game, their last Big East game of the season, a game played just last week. And I'm wondering if there might be some indication there that the season is beginning to wear. A lot of freshmen on this squad, 8 in the starting lineup. And, of course, the upperclassmen are used to the grind of a full season and the way they have to pace themselves to get themselves ready for those final few games. And it may take a little more of a toll on freshmen. And at this point in the season, Seton Hall may not quite be the team it was earlier. so far in this game, we haven't really seen any indication of that, however.
No, indeed, we have not. Matashak trying to bust in. He got tangled up with Scott Jones. Bill Maxwell called the foul against Jones. That tells the story. 32 minutes and 10 seconds to play in the first half, and the Pirates leading 1-0 here in the driving rain in Storrs, Connecticut. It's not really a cold afternoon, temperature in the mid-50s, but it's cold when it's wet. Let's take a look at the foul again, called against Scott Jones of Boston College.
There, Jones just goes wide of the ball and pushes away.
Off the restart, it's headed away by Boston College. Ball bounces over the line, and Ed Haig will throw it in for the Pirates of Seton Hall. Haig takes it back, chips it out in front. Matashak at 6'4" went up for it, couldn't get a good head on it, and Brown clears it away to Zimmerman. Over midfield, on the run after it was Steve Masiello for Boston College. He didn't get there, but Seton Hall had to clear it over the line, and the Eagles will throw it in. The throw-in comes to David Sullivan. In the middle of the field to Suvak, the MVP of the Eagles a year ago. His pass found Masiello, but he had it blocked, pushing and shoving around the ball. Now it's Jeff Montes. Jones kicked it over everything, and the Pirates will throw it in with 30 minutes and 45 seconds to play in the first half. Seton Hall leading 1-0. Big East Conference semifinal round action. Connecticut and Syracuse to meet in the other semifinal.
That Connecticut-Syracuse game, of course, is going to present the one half of tomorrow's action in the championship game here in Storrs. And I think that it's looking at those two teams that led Seton Hall coach Ed Kelly to make a statement to me that he made earlier this season that he feels his opportunity of getting into the NCAA tournament is better through the region because he feels he already has that wrapped up, and he feels it will be difficult to get the Big East bid here. And I think, again, it goes back to those freshmen and the fact that the team that he will face tomorrow will be the winner of the, if they get that far, will be the winner of the Syracuse Connecticut game. Both of those teams experienced in Big East tournament play, which demands that you play back-to-back days, which is extremely difficult, and that's where being the upperclassman and having the experience of pacing yourself to this point in the season and then playing on back-to-back days is going to be an advantage.
I would have to think that Seton Hall is in the NCAA tournament regardless of what happens here this weekend, ranked 9th in the nation. And if they do receive an NCAA tournament bid, it'll be the first time in the 49-year history of soccer at Seton Hall that the Pirates will have qualified for the NCAA tournament. Ed Kelly has really turned this program around in a hurry. We're down to 29 minutes and 10 seconds to play in the first half. Back come the Pirates, right out in front in the direction of Matashak, played away by Hasbin. And the first corner kick of the afternoon coming up for the Seton Hall Pirates. Peter Matashak scored the goal at 2:07, assisted by Ian Hennessy. It'll be Pat O'Kelly to put the ball in play. He's wearing number 11, freshman from Dublin, Ireland. 5 Irish players on the roster. Coach Kelly, a native of Ireland himself. There's the goal. Off the corner kick, headed in, and Seton Hall has a 2-0 lead.
Well, there were a couple of Seton Hall heads that got on the ball that time.
But it was Ian Hennessy who put the ball in the net.
Hennessy certainly appears to be celebrating that goal. Let's take a look at it. This is a good corner kick. You get the ball way up, and you give your forwards in front an opportunity to keep that ball in play in front of the area. There you see the header by Hennessy, and that is indeed what puts it in as it goes by the goalkeeper Hasbin and off an Eagle player. Another angle, and again, getting it up in front, giving your forwards an opportunity to keep the ball alive. Hennessy with the headshot.
Goal number 9 of the season for freshman forward Ian Hennessy. He's the 3rd leading scorer on the Pirate team. And like Matashak, he's a big target right out in front. Matashak 6'4", and Hennessy is 6'2", 170 pounds. He's from Cork, Ireland. Ian Hennessy, and the Pirates lead 2-0.
And that was number 9, Pat Hughes, who got the first head on the ball to keep it alive for Hennessy in front of the goal.
It's David Sullivan, Boston College, facing a 2-goal deficit against one of the best teams in the nation. Zimmerman pops it up, but it went over the net. And it's a goal kick for Terry Higgins. We want to remind you that Nesson's coverage of Hockey East 86 continues this Friday as the Maine Black Bears travel to Durham to take on the University of New Hampshire Wildcats live at 7:30 p.m. Make sure to check your Nesson listings for other broadcast times. That's the Maine Black Bears and the University of New Hampshire Wildcats this Friday at 7:30 right here on Nesson. We deliver. Boston College to throw it in. Pass taken back by Ed Haig. Matashak slipping and sliding on the wet turf. Had it kicked away by Schwacke. Taken back by John Murphy of Seton Hall, number 8. To Hennessy. Barsamian sliding to stop the play momentarily. Now Haig to Matashak, and he lays it off to Haig. Matashak and Hennessy have scored the goals. Seton Hall leads 2-0. Haig's throw-in headed back by Schwacke goes over the line. And Haig will try again. Up the line again it goes. Some bumping. And the ball lost by Pat Hughes. Ken Lane to throw it in. Throws it to midfield, and it's taken back by Hennessy. Good passing, Hughes and Hennessy. Kicked out by Elaine. It'll be thrown in again by Haig.
Well, I don't know if you can see how the rain is coming down, but you certainly can hear it right now.
It is pouring, and it has been since this game started. And there are huge puddles developing almost all over the entire field. They had the area in front of both nets and the goal creases covered just up until the time the teams came out for their pregame warm-up. Then they took them off, but that is really going to be a muddy area, and you don't envy Chris Whitcomb and Brian Hall, who will be the goalkeepers this afternoon in the second game for Syracuse and Connecticut, respectively. Boston College in possession in midfield. A foul called against Seton Hall, and off the restart, they did it too quickly and too far upfield. That'll give you an idea of what the rain's like. Absolutely pouring.
You know, you might think that Brian Hall would have a bit of an advantage because he's played on this field when it's wet before, but I'll tell you what, I've seen every game Brian Hall has played on this field this season, and he has never played in it in conditions like this.
We should also point out the Connecticut Soccer Stadium really was built by Coach Joe Maroney and with assistance from a lot of people, obviously, but this, they tell me, was once a swamp that they've basically filled in. So you can imagine that it doesn't hold the water very well. We've been here before when the field's been wet, when there hasn't been that much rain.
Right.
Today, there's a ton of rain, and it is showing up all over the place.
And where the difference will come in is I'm sure that Brian has played on a muddy area before, but the difference is going to be we have seen the ball changing direction and actually setting up good shots simply by dying in standing water in front of the area.
And, of course, Syracuse plays its home games in the Carrier Dome.
They don't know what this is all about.
I think Syracuse should have been selected to host the tournament this year if they had known it was going to be like this.
The Syracuse players are going to come out and say, somebody want to roll over the roof?
That's right. Foul called again against Seton Hall. The Pirates lead the Boston College Eagles in this Big East Conference semifinal matchup. The score is 2-0. Peter Matashak and Ian Hennessy have scored the goals for Seton Hall. Off the restart, it comes bouncing right in. Sullivan put it in play, but Higgins made the stop. Pirates move it out to midfield. Matishak gave it off as Jones was coming on. Massengill. Now Haig. Good one-touch passing here by the Pirates. Hughes looking to move in, and he got stopped by Schwacke. They both go down. Schwacke gets back up and kicks it out to midfield. His pass was intended for Sullivan, skipped out. Navarro throws it back in for Seton Hall. To Haig. Again to Hughes. His pass blocked. Massengill got it back to Haig. Haig trying to move away from Schwacke. Puts it in the direction of Matishak. He leaves it for Hughes. He tries a shot, and it sails wide, high and wide. And he was a little bit disgusted with himself as he went down and pounded the mud.
Well, it was difficult to get himself set for that shot as he was sliding into it. And earlier, as Hughes tried to get into the area, earlier, he was stopped by standing water. Into the game for BC now, Greg O'Brien.
Number 16, a freshman from South Old New York.
And Pat Zimmerman takes a seat. Ben Brewster substituting a little bit earlier than he did the other night. We didn't see the first substitute for Boston College until there were about 6 minutes to go in the first half. Now we've seen a couple of substitutions. So he's got some players that have been sliding around in the water a little bit, and he wants to give them a rest.
We're at the Connecticut Soccer Stadium in Storrs, Connecticut, home of the University of Connecticut Huskies, hosting the Big East Conference Tournament again this year. The Huskies will play Syracuse in the other semifinal. This is Seton Hall against Boston College. Just under 15 minutes to play in the first half. And the Pirates of Seton Hall lead the Eagles 2-0. Goals coming early at 2:07. Peter Matishak, and at 16:24, Ian Hennessy made it a 2-zip game. Monas along the line. Again, the Pirates steal it. Play on is the call as a pile of players went down near the Boston College bench. Eric Brown carrying the ball. Moves through a couple of defenders, got tripped, and it'll be a free kick for Boston College just on its offensive side of midfield. You see the puddles right near the ball. Put in play by Suvak, headed back by the Pirates, right back to Suvak. He chips it forward. The Eagles conscious of not going offside, and Higgins came sliding out to take the ball. Nobody moving in for BC.
That last play, the last counter by Boston College, we got a good look. Another good look at a slip, too. We got a good look at how quickly Seton Hall gets back on defense. And that's certainly going to work very much to their advantage on this particular kind of day, because, as Sean pointed out earlier, it's very difficult to run a fast offense. So if you can get back quickly on defense, you're going to stop a lot of opportunities. And so far, Seton Hall has allowed only one shot on goal. And just some quick recovery is the reason.
Ball right in on Higgins. He juggled it momentarily and now hangs on and gets ready to punch it away.
You could probably pick up on your screen behind Higgins in the goal. He has a couple of towels inside the net. And you may wonder what good they're going to do, because they're getting as wet as anything else. But as he slides around in there, he's going to get some mud on his gloves. And wet is one thing. Mud is what slick balls slide off of and into the goal. And I'm kind of surprised that at the other end, Hasman doesn't have some towels there as well, just to keep the gloves clean, not necessarily dry.
We're down to 12:40 to play in the first half. Seton Hall leading 2-0. Pirates going on the run. The ball went over the line and out. There are those towels you were talking about, Scott.
Yeah. Yeah, just
we can use them up here. We really can't complain because we've got just about the best deal in the entire stadium up here in our tent, but it is leaking everywhere. I mean, we might as well be out in the rain for all the good that this canvas is doing over our heads.
We aren't getting poured on. It's more like the Chinese water.
Yes,
water
I would almost rather get poured on than the slow dripping that's falling on my bald dome. Collision, players go down. Boston College called for the foul. Ed Kelly, 24-8-3 in 2 seasons at Seton Hall. Really an interesting story. A native of Dublin, Ireland, came over here in 1965 to this country and served 4 years in the U.S. Air Force. He's done a fine job. He's gone back to his homeland to bring over many of the talented players who form the nucleus of this 9th-ranked team in the nation.
Not only has he done a fine job for Seton Hall, he's done a fine job for the Big East.
And he did a fine job at FDU. You can almost see how their program at FDU has slipped off a little bit since Kelly left. He was really responsible for bringing in a lot of the players that made Fairleigh Dickinson a power in collegiate soccer.
Well, the thing that he's done for the Big East is he's moved them in the right direction. If the Big East is ever going to get into a full round robin of soccer play, they're going to have to really develop some more powerful teams, especially in that Southern Division. And along comes Ed Kelly, and he turns Seton Hall right around, makes them the first Southern Division team ever to be seeded number one in the Big East tournament. And he's started a very competitive atmosphere in that Southern Division. So he's really moved the Big East toward the future by turning this program around.
Ken Lane throws it in for Boston College. The Eagles trailing 2-0 with 10:40 to play in the first half. Peter Matashak scored his 21st goal of the season from Ian Hennessy at 2:07 of the half. And at 16:24 off a corner kick, Ian Hennessy scored his 9th goal of the season from Pat Hughes and Pat O'Kelly. 2-0 the score. The Eagles looking to break. David Sullivan with the ball. The sophomore on the run. Stopped by Navarro, tries to feed it through. Ball comes free and rolls into Higgins. It was Eric Brown trying to take the ball in the area for Boston College. Suvak for the Eagles. Plays it to Elaine. Elaine gives it off to Barsamian. His pass blocked. Sullivan with it. He was taken down from behind by Murphy as he gave the ball off. Schwacke got it to Mark Egan. Sullivan again. Good ball. Brown cutting in. Played the ball a little too far in front of him. And Navarro comes over to make the play. George Navarro, number 12.
And with that last shot on goal by Boston College, they now have 3. Seton Hall with 9. That one very much like the offense that we saw out of Boston College against Boston University. Not a lot of sustained action, just getting a quick opportunity off a break, and that one again set up pretty much by some standing water and a misdirection of the ball, opening a player, in this case Eric Brown, up in the area.
I really think Boston College is going to have a tough time. You see that ball die as it heads back to Hasman. On their field at Boston College, as you mentioned the other night, it's a short field. It's a very narrow field. And the Eagle style usually is to pack it in, punt the ball out to the midfield stripe, and try to win it and take it in from there. They really do not play a disciplined, short passing game. I think it's going to be tough to go to that. It's going to be tough to execute the short game, too.
Another thing,
they're not really an explosive come-from-behind offensive style team at all.
Another thing about that field is a very hard field with a very intense crown on it, and water would not be standing on that field. It would all be running off to the side.
Jeff Monis puts it near the top of the area. Ball bouncing free. We're down to 8 minutes to play in the first half. Seton Hall leading Boston College 2-0 in this Big East Conference Tournament semifinal matchup between Seton Hall, the number 1 seeded team in the tournament, and Boston College, the 4th seeded team. Ball taken back by Scott Jones of BC to Barsamian. Long ball almost got through to O'Brien, but it was headed away. Haig fell, got up, and played the ball forward to Murphy. Murphy lost the ball. Schwacke to Brown. Eric Brown, a senior from Framingham, Mass. As it headed back, and it's Pat Hughes. Hughes. Elaine marking Hughes. He got it off to Hennessy, who scored the 2nd goal. Now it's Navarro. He's from Union, New Jersey. In the direction of Matashak. Jones did a good job defensively. Monis took the ball back and sends it to Hasman. He throws it quickly back out to Jeff Monis, number 12, a sophomore from Farmington, Connecticut. Collision along the line, and it'll be Boston College to throw it in.
And again, we saw as soon as Boston College moved back, even before they had the ball out of their own end, we saw that Seton Hall had 5 players on the back line, and they really stretched that back line out.
Ball bouncing free, but Greg O'Brien can't get there in time, and it'll be a goal kick for Terry Higgins, the senior goalie for Seton Hall.
As I was saying, Seton Hall really stretched the back line out, and they moved it in the direction of the play by Boston College and really forced Boston College wide, and that has been keeping the Eagles from getting any offense sustained in front. As I mentioned earlier, the opportunities they're getting, very quick hit type of chances.
Haig will take the goal kick and kick it out toward midfield. Headed back by Egan, but won back by the Pirates. Pat Hughes trying to move away from the lane. Had his chip attempt blocked, and down goes Scott Jones of Boston College. Jones is hurt. Don't know where he took that one.
I think he took that right square in the chest and knocked the wind out of him. Let's take a look at it. Very close range.
His chest
knock the wind. It did knock the wind out of him, didn't it?
Yes.
And the clock has been stopped by the referee. 5:46 to play.
Scott Jones, a senior from Yarmouth, Maine, won the Tom McElroy Scholarship last year, named for a former BC goalkeeper who passed away in 1981. Tom McElroy was very well liked around Boston College, and they have a scholarship fund in his memory there, and Scott Jones was the award winner a year ago.
Jones will be allowed to stay in the game because the clock was stopped strictly at the discretion of the referee. He made the call immediately when he saw how Jones had been hit at close range. It wasn't a case of Jones staying on the ground waiting for a stoppage and a substitution.
Play still stopped with 5:46 to play in the first half. There's the referee, Bill Maxwell. He's a fine official. I remember him well from my days at Syracuse. Join us next Saturday afternoon as Nesson's coverage of Yankee Conference Football 86 continues from Alumni Stadium in Amherst, Massachusetts. The New Hampshire Wildcats and the Massachusetts Minutemen square off in what could very well be the game that decides the Yankee Conference Championship. Nesson's live coverage begins at 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon. New Hampshire and Massachusetts in Yankee Conference football, right here on Nesson, where we deliver the best in New England college sports.
Well, now they are calling Scott Jones off the field. That was the delay by the referee, Maxwell. And they'll bring in Chris Pace, number 8. And if we can get a shot of Chris, you'll see that he has taken a ball in the face earlier this season, and he's wearing a guard right now.
Looks like Jason from
there he is.
The movies.
Yeah. Friday the 13th, right?
Yeah. Chris Pace, a fine player. Sophomore, wearing number 8 from Massapequa, New York. You've seen his brother Rich earlier this season on Nesson. His brother Rich plays for the Providence College Friars.
He either looks like Jason or half a goalkeeper or goaltender in hockey.
Seton Hall leading 2-0 as we make our way toward halftime here at the Connecticut Soccer Stadium in Storrs, Connecticut. Once again this year, the host of the Big East Conference Championships. Hennessy plays it out wide. Joe Alfano, number 4. Ball headed back by the Eagles. Hennessy has it back again to Haig. Good job to stop the ball that was skidding on the wet turf. Barsamian blocked it. The ball rolls out. And corner kick upcoming here for the Seton Hall Pirates. Their second, and they scored their second goal on the first one. Ben Brewster has to be a little bit wet over there on the Boston College bench. He mentioned earlier his 11th season. It's been 2 separate stints. Coached 1 year, left for a couple, and then came back in the 10th year of his second stint.
Had a word with Scott Jones as he sends him back out onto the field. And coming off for Boston College now, Jeff Monis. Ben Brewster, of course, a former assistant to Joe Maroney here at Connecticut.
Also an assistant at Yale, and of course a fine professional player was Ben Brewster. Ed Kelly, the coach of the Seton Hall Pirates, also played professionally, including a stint with the Hartford Bicentennials of the NASL. Do you remember them, Scott?
Oh, I remember them very well, yes.
We're down to 3.5 minutes to play in the first half. Seton Hall leads Boston College 2-0. The first of two semifinal round Big East tournament games to come your way here on the New England Sports Network. I'm Sean McDonough along with Scott Gray. Our producer-director, John Vasallo, has the nicest assignment of the day down in the nice warm truck. Warm and dry. I think dry the operative word. It's not actually that cold out here. It's not really warm out here. I wouldn't say it's tropical.
Just tell the folks at home we're suffering, Sean.
Yes, we are suffering.
We're earning our money today.
But all in the name of quality sports television. Back come the Pirates looking for more. Chipped toward the far post over the head of Hasman and over the line, and it'll be a goal kick for Eric Hasman in the net. Good view of that attempted pass.
That went pretty well way wide. Got closer to the front of the goal than it actually did to the side of it.
Hasman punts it away. He's the oldest player on the BC roster at age 23. And it's played back to Terry Higgins. Quickly back come the Pirates. Peter Matashak. Long ball, and it'll trickle down to Hasman. Hasman played for the junior national team of El Salvador in 1984.
Hasman, you see, coming out and really making a quick move on that ball as it comes in on him now. He's not wasting any time going out to get it because he's had a couple of opportunities earlier where the ball just died in water and set up a Seton Hall player rushing in.
Race for the ball. A lane after it with Murphy in close pursuit. Lost the ball. Murphy chips it toward the net and it struck the post. Dies along the line and Hasman will play it. Whoa. Very nearly a misplay into a goal for Seton Hall.
Well, you know, we have said that time and time again this season, and Elaine guilty that time. When you're feeding the ball back to the goaltender, make sure it's a good, firm kick. It goes right to him and it's going to reach him.
Sullivan was breaking in. Higgins came sliding out. The play called offside anyway. Sullivan might be shaken up. He's still down. Less than a minute to play in the first half. Seton Hall 2. Boston College nothing. Peter Matashak and Ian Hennessy, the goal scorers in the first half for the Pirates of Seton Hall. Brian Hammond. Suvak slides over, makes a nice play, takes the ball away from him. Dave Suvak ahead to David Sullivan. Now Brown to Chris Pace on the run. He chips it in the direction of the net. Higgins out to play it on one hop as O'Brien was moving in for the Eagles. Higgins' punt went off the side of his foot, out of play. The Eagles will throw it in. They'll have to hurry if they want another shot opportunity here in the half. 15 seconds to play. Pace played a good ball through. O'Brien couldn't get there. Higgins kicks it out. And that'll just about do it. In the background, you can hear the public address announcer counting off the final seconds of the first half. And that's it. We're at halftime here at the Connecticut Soccer Stadium, site of the 1986 Big East Conference Soccer Championships. It's semifinal round action between Seton Hall, the #1 ranked team in the tournament, and Boston College, the 4th seeded team in the tournament. The Pirates lead 2-0 at the half, and we'll return to Storrs, Connecticut right after we pause for these messages on NESN.